We love it here in Colorado, but there's another place I think about often. That place is San Diego. I'm gonna jacket where the sun always shines. He's gonna jacket. Been spreading the word and now I've got to ease my mind. Been spreading those apple seeds and while the apples grow, I'm gonna go out jacking it in San Diego.
Alright, so we got South Park Season 16, Episode 5, Butterballs. It's crazy that, like, we're saying Season 16, these are pretty big numbers, and we're about to get Season 26 of South Park. I still think the show is still decent up to this point. Like, there's a lot of bad episodes, a lot more bad ones than there used to be, but like, they just had those post-COVID episodes like a year or two ago, and those were wonderful. Like, they still have it occasionally. It's definitely a show that stood like the test of time better than The Simpsons or Family Guy. I like American Dad still, so I'll give American Dad that, but American Dad's always been like equally stupid start to finish. So this is the anti-bullying episode of South Park that exposes the anti-bullying campaigns as the real bullies. I think a more accurate way to put it. There's a lot of people out there who will say they stand for one thing and true colors come out pretty quickly. I think that's something that's more relevant today than ever. I mean, you have like douchebags like Logan Paul who made these big claims about being bullied, then a bunch of people came out like that went to school with him saying, no, that's not true. In fact, I remember being bullied by him specifically, so I think that's kind of like what this one's getting at, like just people who want to spread a positive message, spread a good message, but they're like really in it for themselves, and they're bullying a lot of people in the process to get them to, you know, side with them and understand, like pressuring the victims into standing behind, not just like being against anti-bullying, but being for your specific campaign for anti-bullying.
Honestly, I was gonna come up on this episode being like, this episode is better than Encanto's talking about generational bullying and shit like that. But I think this episode's funny. And I feel weird about saying that this episode's funny. Because, like, I don't know, it's a perfect way to describe bullying, though, right? Like, it's over dramatic, but it's, I don't know, I just love the sketch of the bathroom, and you know what I'm talking about? Like,
right, every single time there's a character who's, like, in the bathroom and, like, starts bullying another character, that same character ends up getting bullied by another person. Up to the point where Jesus is bullying someone.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. And this episode is one of those like episodes of where like you told me Butters had a bully and I'm like, oh cool, I have no clue who it's gonna be. And then it's his grandma and I'm like, wouldn't that be funny if his grandma was just gonna bully the shit out of him?
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna go there. I'm just sitting there like, man, I'm fucked up for thinking that. And then it happened.
Hey, you even get this scene where the grandma almost feels like she's trying to justify it, like, stand up for yourself, but, like, Butters completely tells her off by the end. There is so many good fucking scenes in this episode. This is one of my favorite episodes of South Park, and that scene somehow manages to overcome both the bullying song and the Jackin' It in San Diego song, because those are both such memorable moments of this episode, but my favorite moment of this entire show is just Butters telling his grandma off in that one scene. I think it's like perfectly written and perfectly delivered.
I feel like Butters has moments like that, so at least South Park have moments like this. And can I say damn?
Yeah, it is a savage moment, but it is so deserved. I think Cartman is probably the funniest character on the show. I think Butters is the best character on the show. I think he is the heart of South Park with how nasty and vicious the show it can be. I think Butters is just that little bit of innocence that like kind of keeps things together, kind of makes it so South Park is still able to be a wholesome show at points, despite all of the really gross things they do. Butters has some absolutely amazing speeches on the show, and like a lot of his innocence is played off for comedy. Like there's a lot of episodes where things end really badly for him, and it's, you laugh at him, but you also feel bad for him. But then there's also episodes where he just has like big wins, like he does in this one.
I think the thing that even is great is that Butters' family is crazy because his grandma got a costume. Because we got one of my favorite characters, and that's, well, costumes, I guess, because it's still Butters. Is Professor Chaos, am I correct?
Yes.
His grandma has a supervillain persona as well, because she saw his costume, and I just like, that's crazy. I didn't think that it would turn. This episode went every which way I didn't think it would go. It's, I guess, the best way for me to put it.
And it is, like, doing a lot of running jokes. Like, the bathroom scenes and every interaction with the grandma is, like, a running joke. I think South Park often falls into the trap of repeating jokes too much in episodes where you get the joke and it's not funny when they repeat it. But in this one, it's, like, one of the good examples of, like, South Park doing that, because every single time it gets more ridiculous.
Yeah.
Every single time it, like, moves things forward in a way where it's like, yeah, perfect. Like it like just escalates in the perfect way, start to finish.
So you also explained to me the joke of is it Coney 2012, right?
Yeah.
And
Jason Russell.
Yeah, I absolutely appreciate that you told me the joke, because I would have asked about it, so either way you solved the problem. I actually think a reference like that is so hard to make, I guess, funny, right, without knowing what's up, but the show did a great job without, like, having to exactly know what's up. Like, Jackie in San Diego will definitely tell you what's up, especially if you look into it. I don't know, I think the joke was funny. I think it's funny knowing what it is, but I think I would have still thought it was funny even if you didn't explain it, probably because the song's funny, but I like the context a lot.
And I feel like Trey and Matt feel the same way about it, because they did an orchestral version of it. They sung it at their concert for the 25-year anniversary. Like, it's clearly one of their favorite songs. They keep repurposing it in these, like, events they do. It's just a really goofy song. It's really funny. It's really memorable. And I mentioned to you, like, one of the reasons I wanted to explain the joke to you before you watched it. They didn't really explain the joke, more so just gave you context about what Coney 2012 was and what the director did, his little stunt. Because, oh my god, me and Zach used to bond over that fucking song. We used to play that shit all the time. We'd put it in videos of ours. Like, it was just the funniest fucking thing to us. Yeah, it cracks me up, but it's honestly not even my favorite song in the episode. I like the Let's Make Bullying Kill Itself song more, because I think it just highlights what the episode is going for so perfectly, where it's like, you're trying to stop bullying by bullying.
I think the thing that's funny about this episode of South Park is I feel like it's a perfect embodiment of what South Park is, right? Because it's offensive, but, like, it's funny. It shoves so much offensive crap in there, but it's not like they're, like, actually bullying anybody. And I feel like that's kind of where South Park normally is. I get that there's episodes that isn't that. This is gonna sound weird, but I feel like I wanted to show somebody South Park that has never seen it before, I'd be like, yo, check this episode out.
It's a good one, because, I mean, there's episodes of South Park where I'm, like, aware, like, this one's gonna rub someone the wrong way, or there's episodes of South Park I dislike. There's episodes where I'm like, yeah, I'm not following you on this one. But I think this one's just accessible to just about anyone, because I think that, one, hypocrisy is something that, you know, most people are familiar with. I don't think anyone's going to get offended by the message of this episode. But also, I just think that it is really funny. And I think that you're really rooting against Stan in this episode because he's being a douchebag, and you're really rooting for Butters. And I think Stan gets what he deserves, and Butters gets what he deserves.
I feel like South Park kind of also embodied bullying better than, like, most PSAs do. Because, like, they're like, just go to an adult, and then the adults are bullying each other. I feel like we easily forget that bullies still, like, adults still do bully each other. It happens.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so funny that they straight up have that, like, you know, the anti-bullying guy bullied Mr. Mackey, so, like...
Oh, and Mr. Mackey is, like, crying and giving that announcement.
Yeah, it's just, like, I don't know, I just didn't... It just took me aback a little bit, because I thought this was just gonna be, you know, kids get bullied, adults don't, and then, I don't know, this episode was just a roller coaster. I loved it.
I think it's one of the best of the show. I think it's in my top 10 favorite episodes.